The first is criteria, so this is where you plug in subject property information, name of the seller that you're building the CMA for, and this information will show up on the cover sheet of the CMA. So the first page will have your seller's name on it. So the person like building the CMA for, you enter their name, right? Name of the seller, and then next thing you want to add is the property address, right? So address of the property, that's how the property will be found on a map. So locate the subject property along with your comparables. So plug in the address of the subject property, add your subject property pictures. So that's another thing I would, there's really three things I would look for before you get ready to search comparables. Number one, knowledge of the subject property, make sure you're able to see the subject property and then see the condition of the subject property. Second, take a picture of the subject property, right, before you leave. So if you're physically there, take a picture of the subject property. That picture will be added here onto your CMA, right? So if you added the picture. And third, like I said, knowledge of the neighborhood, right? So the three things: subject property, taking the picture, and knowledge of the neighborhood plays a big role when you're searching comparables. So you click on browse and then find your subject property picture. So if you've taken a photo with your camera, just upload the picture to your computer and then add that to your CMA. Square footage.
That would be only the front part of the CMA, right?
Just on the cover sheet. It's only on the cover sheet, yes.
It allows for one picture.
Just one picture, yeah. Something, what it does really, if you think about it, it shows commitment, right? So many of those CMAs that you would find, most of the time agents don't add picture, or they will add an old picture that's out there, and that's something could get you in trouble with the copyright. So if you're using someone's picture out there, that's automatically a violation if it gets reported. Secondly, like I said, it shows commitment, right? So you've taken a picture that you're adding to the subject property, so that's something more recent. So that's something you want to definitely do. Take a picture of the subject property, and or when you drive by, just just whenever you can, use that picture in your CMA. The square footage, bedrooms and bathroom, this information is about the subject property, does not really apply or does not factor in with your comparables. All this information does, it appears on one of the templates. There are different ways you could display comps. There's one template that will have subject property information and then 3 comparables next to it, right, on each page. So if you want that, that's when I'll use it. But not very important, so you could leave it blank if the buyer already know about the subject property, or I'm sorry, seller, and you know what the features that subject property has. So there's really no need to enter that. You have all your comparables. So these are the comps that I'm using for my CMA. Click on Fetch Listings, upper right corner, the green button. Fetch Listings will bring you over to the next step. It will gather all the comparables. And on your next step here, you'll see a brief summary for the price on the top. And then underneath, you'll see a list of all the comparables. Now, if you wanted to change these comps or move them around in any way, just click on the comp and you drag and drop. Right? And that's how these comparables will appear on your CMA report when you build that. Or if you wanted to remove any of the comparables before you move on, you just uncheck the box. Right? That comp will be removed. So you kind of decide which direction you want to go. Okay. Now, customize, so the next step after listing is a customize. This is where you would go and pick a theme that you want, right? So whatever theme you wanted to use. Oh, I'm sorry, this is the headline here on the top. So this is what appears on the cover sheet of the CMA. Or language, whatever, either English or Spanish. Those are 2 language options available. And the next item will be theme, right here. So this is where you'll find list of different themes that are available to you. You can pick any of these themes listed here under franchise or heritage. Right, so these are all the different themes that are available to you. Only franchise themes have language options. So if I pick a heritage theme, just for example, see how the language option is no longer there. So just remember, if you pick a franchise theme, a color franchise theme, only then you will see a language option in case you're looking for, the language option there. So that's not under heritage themes. So the next thing you will do is select the layout, right, that you want to use. So this is where you decide how you want the comps to appear, or rather how many pages you want to dedicate for comparables, right? The first 3 pages, or the first 3 layouts, will use 1 page for every comparable. So if you have 8 comps, you have 8 pages for comparables, or 9 pages. So these 3 will be using 1 page The next fourth one here, 2 pages per, this will have obviously two comps on each page. This one here will have 4 comparables on each page, right? So you have comp number 1, 2, 3, and 4. This one here will have 3 comps on each page in a column comparison, so you kind of comparing side by side. And only the last format, 4 column comparison, is where you find subject property information on the far left side, and then 3 comparables next to it. So only on this report, this layout, you will see subject property information that you enter right at the very beginning. So if you've entered that, only on this layout, that'll be included. So you decide which layout you like, select the layout, and the nice thing is it will remember the layout that you've selected previously. So Cloud CMA will remember that, so you don't have to change the layout every time. Same thing applies with the font style. So these are the different fonts that are available if you want to change to something different, a different font for your CMA. You could pick any of these fonts listed here. There's many different fonts available to you, so you can pick any of those fonts here. Right? Now, next thing you want to do is after you've selected the theme, layout, and font style, the next thing you want to do is pick things that you want to include in your CMA. This is where I've heard from other agents in the past, or using Cloud CMA, not really kind of taking a little bit extra time and then going through what they want to include, is they will complain that the CMA is too long, right? So 20 or 30 or 40 pages long. And that is due to things that are included in your CMA. So when you get to customize, just take a little bit of time and remove things that you don't want in your CMA, things that are not relevant, right? So initially you may find all things included or many different things that will be included. So you go through the list and take a few minutes and then remove things that you don't want, right? How do you know what that page looks like? Click on the title, the name of the page, and it will show you what that page will look like, right? So if you decide to use it, this is what it will look like on your report, right? So your company logo, your information, and this is what that page will look like. So you decide what you want to include. Is there things that are not included right now, so I can include any of these things, or remove them, right? Or you can move them around. So if you want to drag and move that item around anywhere, just drag and drop, right? So you want to take a little bit of time and customize this. If you don't change anything on your next CMA, the next CMA will have the same items automatically selected. So it auto saves what you've selected on Cloud CMA. Now, if you are using Cloud CMA to build reports for different type of transactions, different type of clients, such as you could have a seller, right, just a regular seller, or you could have an investor you're doing the CMA for, or you could maybe do a CMA for a buyer, right? So if you just wanted to send a quick property analysis, so you may have different transactions, different things that you would include in that CMA, right? So rather than going in and removing or adding things different times, you could save any of these things that you added under one-click report, right here at the bottom. So right where it says one-click report, so I can go there and say, add a new report. So using these items, add a new report and then give that report a name and then save. So when this happens, I could next time, if I'm building a CMA for a investor, for example, I could just go here and select one of my one-click reports that I've saved. Right? So I was doing this for investor, I could select investor, and it will add items that I usually include in that type of CMA. Right? So one-click report is where you would go and add a new report. So you're saving these templates, right, for different transactions, different type of transaction you may be involved with. So that allows you to save that. If you want to delete something, click on a little trash can icon, and that deletes that report. So you have those two ways. You could either just leave what you have there, next time we'll include the same things, or you could save that each report, each different template, and then you could go between different templates if you like. So after this step, you just click Publish Report, and that will create your CMA. Right? So you're done building a CMA report. So those 3 steps that you will go through create your CMA report. If you practice a little bit, try this a couple times, this part here, and especially if you've gone in and removed things that you don't want in the CMA, the process of building a CMA report itself should take you less than 5 minutes. Right? So just searching comparables is where it takes most of your time, and knowing what comps you wanted to use. The rest of the process, if you preset some of those things, it'll be a very straightforward process there. After you build the CMA, to preview the PDF report of CMA, click on View. right here. And by the way, any of your CMAs that you've built in Cloud CMA will say there, there's no expiration date. So until you go and remove that CMA manually, so if you click on little trash can icon to remove, until then, CMA will stay in Cloud CMA, right? It's available to you online from any computer. Click on View to preview a PDF file of that CMA report. So if you want to look at the CMA, so this is what that CMA looks like. It's 8 pages long. This is a total of 8 pages, and it gives you the PDF file, right, of the CMA report. So these are the things that I've included on my CMA, right? So that's your CMA report in a PDF. You could download this to your computer, top right corner. You have option to save or you can print the CMA report. So that's under View. Every CMA you build in Cloud CMA also comes with a presentation mode that you could use on your iPad or on your tablet, right? Something a larger screen. And when you click on Present, right next to View, and that will open up the presentation mode, right, for Cloud CMA. So it's more of a slideshow that's built for you using the comps that are included. The first slide will have your picture information. You just, go over to using the arrow or click on the left or right arrow, the bottom right corner, to go from each step. So the first one is a map, then it'll go through all the comparables. First it goes through comp number 1. We'll have very few things about the comparables, again, based on your knowledge of the comparables, or if you printed out additional information of these comparables, you're going off of that. But it will include all the pictures, right? So if you just scroll down, you can see all the pictures that are in the MLS for that comp. Right, so all the pictures are within that report. So each comp, same thing, if you scroll down, it'll give you the rest of the pictures. So these are all the comps, closed, pendings, and then it will go through all the actives, right, active comps. So these are all the active comps that are available. So this slideshow is created for you. The next slide that's added to this presentation is of an average of comparables. So it will show you what is the average price based on the comps, either sold, active, or pendings. And so you can see the numbers separating each stat. So we'll group them by status, the comparables. The next slide, which is a sold property analysis, called sold property analysis. What this slide does, it allows you to see what price the properties were listed for and comparing that to the sale price and showing you the difference where they sell for less than or more than the listing price and showing you what is the days on market on each of those listings. So this will be a great slide if you wanted to maybe point out some of the properties that were sold for less than from its original price and less than from the original price, and that was due to the days of market. So that's something that you could maybe talk about on the slide if you have something. So these ones, obviously, you can see 7 days on market, and you can see really positive. The lesser, the fewer the days on market it stays, the chances are to sell for more than where it's listed, right? So that's what it clearly states here. So 7 days on market, and you can see they all, or at least 2 of them were sold for more than what it was listed. Right. So that's what I would use this slide for. So talking about those comparables, what they were, how long they were listed, and what they were sold for, is what I will use on the slide. So this will show you the average calculation there. So what is average or median price based on the comps you use. And the next will be some talking points that are included on there. One is distribution of commission. So this is where you can talk about how the commission will be distributed. So this is considered as a talking point. So whatever you wanted to talk about commission, so that piece will be added. And then it goes over the timing and the asking price, right? How would that affect your prospective buyers on the market. So this here illustrates that if you go with the market value, you're looking at approximately 60% of prospective buyers. If you go higher than the market value in general, you'll have fewer prospective buyers looking for that type of property, right? So that's what it illustrates. So that's when you could talk about the pricing. This is where the fair market is what we should aim for. So that's another talking point. And the next talking point will be the timing. So this one illustrates that the longer the property stays on the market, the foot traffic will decline. Right, so you have the first couple weeks that you'll see more foot traffic as you list the property. The longer it stays on the market, it starts to decline. So another talking point that you can talk about trying to sell it as soon as you can and the quickest time you can. And then you're done with your CMA. Right, so that's your presentation mode that's included in your in all CMAs in Cloud CMA. Right, so that's by clicking on Present. Email will allow you to email out this CMA report, the PDF version of the CMA, or you could download that to your computer and then send out an attachment outside of Cloud CMA. So you decide how you wanted to share that. The last option is share, and this will give you links to either a PDF file that you want to share. So if I wanted to not download, just add a link to the PDF file in my email, this is where I could copy the link to PDF file or the presentation mode. Alright, so either one of those I could copy here. Now for presentation mode, you have to...
Can I interrupt you a second? The presentation mode, you can copy it off of the internet and
You can copy the link. Yeah, I'm going to explain that next. So presentation mode does require internet.
Okay.
When you click on present, you have to be connected to the internet in order to open up the presentation mode. But now, if you're on your tablet and you open up the presentation mode when you have access to the internet, then you go offline, you can still run through the slideshow, as long as you still have it open.
And can you print out?
I see what you're saying.
Right? So if I don't close,
you don't
even
have
if
to reopen it.
you have to have it opened and leave it open
Previously,
when you have
yeah.
internet access.
Got it.
So if you want to print out the whole presentation slide,
Presentation is not printable, yeah.
It's not?
Yeah, not.
any of the slides, no.
None of the slides are printable. You can only do maybe a print screen or a crop screen. But what I would do is use a PDF file if I'm talking off the paper, if something I'm printing, use the PDF version. Meaning just your normal CMA. The presentation is really designed if you have a tablet. Now, you don't have to be online to run the presentation. You just have to be online to open it up once. I can open this presentation right now, close my computer, open my computer, browser is still open. I can still run through the presentation with all the pictures.
As long as you're
They're all there. As long as you don't close the browser.
Yeah.
Right? If I don't close this browser and just leave the presentation open, I can run through this offline. I don't need to be on the internet.
No, I was asking about the printout because sometimes a few slides, not specifically for each property, but because some people want to see in paper sometimes, and we could have
Yeah,
some
this
of
one,
those
they don't
slides.
have the ability to edit or print. That's something they'll be coming in their next version, I believe. By, I would say, hopefully soon. I don't know exact ETA. I know they've mentioned that there will be ability to edit or print out the presentation.
So you could download it, right? I mean, the presentation, can you download it?
You're not really downloading it, you're having it open.
Right, so.
It's not downloading
So
it,
it's not
really,
download.
yeah.
But
There's a
if you
difference
share
between download.
Right.
So here you just have to keep the browser open, right? Whatever you open it
Right.
up in, you click on the link, you just gotta keep that
Keep
page
that
open,
open.
that's it.
So when you email, you just can email the CMA, not the
The
presentation.
PDF
You could email the
version of it.
presentation also,
Ah,
It's a
but
link.
for that you have to go under share,
mhm.
right here, you go under share, and there's a link to presentation, and this is the link to PDF.
So when you email, you only email the CMA? When you use
Yeah,
the
when you
email?
click on email, yes, if you click on the email icon
Only the
right here,
CMA. Okay.
you're only emailing a link to the PDF file.
Yeah.
Link to the PDF
Which is
file.
For the CMA.
For that CMA,
Okay.
yes.
Okay,
CMA.
perfect.
Yeah. But share gives you link to the presentation.
So to clarify, there is a huge difference on the view on the PDF file and the
Presentation.
and the presentation.
Presentation is
itself.
really designed
It's
short and
snapshot.
simple, just quick.
Snapshot of it.
If, let's
It's not
say,
a full version of it.
if I'm doing something quick, I would use it for that, or let's say if I'm at an open house even, right? Even if I'm at an open house, rather than doing a full presentation, I could talk about some of the comps that are in that neighborhood, right? So if I'm justifying the listing price,
Yeah.
that's what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
So you can say, okay, comp X, Y, Z has these bedrooms and they compare to this property, this is why we listed. So you're kind of doing that same thing, you're using the presentation, but doing it with buyers, like walking into your open house. So you decide kind of how you want to use it.
So if I want to copy the link, on a presentation link,
Then you go
my
under share.
customer essentially will open just the presentation, just as a mini
Presentation,
slideshow.
yes, that's what they're going
As
to
long as they
see.
have access to the internet, they click on the link, that's what they will
Exactly, if
open.
you
Okay.
share the link, that's under the share tab. You can get
So,
the
and there's two links in there. There's a full and a short.
There's
there neither.
yeah, it's just a short, it's way of sharing on some sites like Twitter, some places where you
Yeah.
have limitation on characters. So that's when you use a short or long.
Okay, I'm gonna send it to myself.
Any other questions?
No, I've been using Cloud for more than a year for flyers
Mhm.
only.
Okay.
because I've been using RPR for presentations or seller report, but
Yeah.
I'm noticing right now that this is much more specific. that
Yeah,
you can
RPO has
choose-
lots of other bells and whistles that
Yeah,
where it gets a little tricky.
and it's too much sometimes.
I would use RPR as more of a research tool then,
Mhm.
right? So just to kind of find out as a background on the subject property, what things the subject property has and whatnot, like previous transactions, deeds and whatnot, so I could find out, kind of consider this like between preliminary report and what you would find on an assessor website. That's what you get from RPR, as far as information on the property.
Yeah, but CMA, this one is
But building a
easier
CMA, I would
because it's
use
very
this, it's more specific for that purpose.
And I didn't know that you could add the properties on hold as an extra
Yeah, you can pick
detail.
whatever status you want.
So that's why it's
yes.
much more straight to the.
So that's building a CMA report. If you want to build a flyer or other document, marketing material, you can just log into Cloud CMA first. So in that case, you have to log into Cloud CMA by going to links or from your association portal. You click on flyer tab, very easy to create a flyer. You click on create a new flyer, enter the name of the person that you're building the flyer for, enter the listing number, the property that you're creating the flyer, fetch listings, and that will pull all the listing detail into Cloud CMA. And then next go to customize, and this is where you pick the theme just like your CMA report, you pick what theme you like. Layout here is where you decide how you want the flyer to look like. There are 12 different layouts for flyers. There are 12 flyers that are available to you, so you pick which flyer that you want to use. Every flyer is a little bit different. Some flyer will only include agent photo, right, as you can see here, and some flyers will include agent photo and company logo. Flyer number 12 will do that. Some flyers will include description of the property. Some will just add some basic facts of the property. So you decide what flyer you like. Some flyers will add more pictures. Some will just add one picture or fewer pictures there. So you pick which layout you like, click on the layout right here. So I'm using flyer 11. So once you click the layout, again, you can change the font style if you like. And the next thing you want to do is remove things that you don't want to send out. Right? So where these things will go is if you build a flyer, each flyer has a QR code, like quick response code. If a person walking around or coming across a flyer scans that QR code, they will receive these additional things, right, electronically. So they'll receive a text message with those things, right, things I've included on the flyer. So that's when it's used, depending on how many things you've included or what you are sharing via QR code is what you decide here. You add or remove, right? So if someone doesn't scan the QR code, they only see a one-page flyer. But if they scan the QR code, they will receive all these additional things that you've included on there.
And if we do delete some of the information, they still get the whole, from the listing, the whole information?
They will still get the flyer, and then the rest of it just based on how many things you've included. They'll still get the flyer electronically and a property description, and then other things about the property, more things about the property than what a flyer will have.
There you go.
But if you are not including additional pictures, then they will not see more photos, right? So whatever pictures you've included in the flyer. So that's what it boils down to. Now, something I forgot to mention under CMA, which is also here, is called custom pages right here. So if you want to add any custom pages, something that you created like a net sheet in the very beginning, I talked about going to settings and custom pages. You could add a PDF file or any documentation there. So if you have created any additional documentation, this is where you find list of those custom pages, right, that you created. So this is available on all reports, CMA, flyers, or property report, any of the custom pages you added.
Question for you. I noticed in that section there's a lot more choices for you. How do you automate?
So some of these things here that are available, what are we looking at? Probably you're looking at a CMA.
Okay.
Which report are you on?
I'm looking at additional report content on the left. I noticed it gives you a lot more choices.
That's
there.
probably on the CMA. It's
Right
not
there.
on here, not on the flyer.
Yeah, right there to the left, all of that. So those are stuff
No.
that you uploaded?
Yeah, I'm sorry, the custom pages, right here, custom page section.
Got
This
it.
is where, at the very beginning, I went under settings.
Okay.
Remember, so I went over to, over to settings, and then we talked about custom pages. So these are all the custom pages I've added, right here. So everything after company, these are all the custom pages I added. All these ones here. So
Okay.
that's where they're coming from. Or any of those PDF files right here. So these are all custom documents, so that's where it's coming from. When you go under custom pages right here. So once you've added those things that you want to add to your flyer, click publish, and that will build your flyer. Right, so that creates your flyer. To preview your flyer, you click on view. Right, so just like the CMA, click on view, and that will give you a preview of your flyer. It will show you what flyer would look like. So from here, you could either print or download that flyer. So it's a PDF file of your flyer. Or if I wanted to edit that flyer, just click on edit right here. Right, so that allows you to go back and make changes if you want, or if you want to get rid of it, just click on the little trash can icon and that will delete that flyer. Right? So every flyer that you create, again, has a QR code. If you scan the QR code here, I'll just click on it. Actually, it's a different flyer. Let me open this one up again. So if you scan the QR code, right, so this is what goes out. Right, so I included the flyer and the QR code, property report, property detail will be sent out along with additional pictures. So whatever I've included under those, under the list of documents I wanted to send out.
And to that, what I've done a lot of times, put just copy the picture of it and put it in social media, and it's still scannable for the smartphones. Any mobile device that scans it, you get the full report.
Yeah, you get additional information on the property. So on the flyer, if you scan the QR, generally I would use that. Here's one example of it. Let's say if you have a for sale sign in the front, right? You have a flyer box with all your flyers in there. Many times you run out of them, right? So if you just maybe get a laminated copy of this flyer, or flyer like this, that could be added to the back of, or on the end of the flyer. Then where a person can just walking by, they just scan the QR code, right? So they could receive additional information electronically on their phone rather than having a hard copy of the flyer.
And you are notified.
It doesn't send you any notification. Yeah, it doesn't do any communication right now. Yeah, it just has that QR code, so it's send out electronic. So that's your flyer. Property reports. That's the next one to it. If you want to build a property report, which could be used along with the flyer, so you could have several copies of a property report that you could hand out at an open house. That's how I would use it. Because on a flyer, there's obviously a QR code, but it doesn't share a lot of information on a flyer itself, right? There's only limited information available. So if I wanted to add additional facts about the subject property, then you create a property report. So you go under property tab, just like your flyer. I'll just edit this one. Just like the flyer, same exact steps. You go into listing tab, and then the customize. So the customize is where you decide how many things you want to add to that report. So things that you add in here will be on your report that you print, right? So this is kind of like a CMA. The more things that you include here, the longer this report will be. So you decide what things you want to include about the property that's available. So you select all those things, same thing with the theme and the font if you want to change that, and then just click publish, right? So that builds your property report. Now to preview the property report, so this one about 8 pages long. So this is an example of a property report. Right, so additional facts of the subject property, schools in the neighborhood, and some of the restaurants. So you kind of decide where the property is located, what type of information will be relevant for this property. Right, so you go through and include that. So that's your property report. Right. Any questions so far?
This one cannot. I noticed there is in the share button, there is a section to tweet it. But it's not a link so we can post it directly, the full report into Facebook.
Say it again?
So there is a way to tweet it, to send a direct message to your client in a tweet right there. But there's a section where we can share this report in Facebook.
Yeah, I would probably either copy the link
Okay.
and share it on Facebook, or I don't think you could download a PDF. I'll just use the link. So copy the link to the PDF file. If you share that, that will allow someone to open up the CMA on their Facebook. It would just use a browser to open it up. There's another feature that's available to you here in Cloud CMA. Right, and let me show you an example of that, what it does. And something that you could use as a marketing tool under your email signatures or on your personal website if you like. So what this does, it allows someone to receive a quick CMA report, right? So for example, this agent, Maha Butler, so this agent had shared this link, which comes to this page, says what's my home worth, right? So if I type in an address here, an address of the property, right, click search, it will ask me for this information. So the name, email address, phone number optional, and square footage information optional, right? Once I click on send my report, I will receive a CMA report on this property, right? A CMA created automatically by computer. So once I receive an email as a buyer, or I'm sorry, as a seller, the agent will also receive an email. So 2 emails will go out. One goes out to the seller, potential seller, and the one email goes out to an agent, right? Telling the agent, this person requested a CMA, and this CMA was emailed to the seller, right? So that's what this feature does. Where you get a link to this feature to share online, right? So you go under settings. So right next to your email address, go to settings and then lead generator. Right here, lead generator. So under settings, lead generator, and this is where you get the link to add to your website. So if you want to add this to your website, this is the entire link that you could copy for your website, that you want to add a link, or if you want to add a banner, right? So add what's my home worth button to a website. So if I want to add that, this is the link that I would copy, the code that I'll copy. So this will add a button that says how much my home is worth onto your website, right? So those are 2 ways I can copy it. Now, just to show you how it works, when I go to this link, so this is where I have my picture there, my name, right on the top, of my contact information. So this is again coming from settings. Remember, under settings, if you don't add that under settings, your contact information, this area will be blank. We'll just have your name only, right? So here again, I'll type in a property address, and just to show you how that works. So plug in the address of the property, click search. Let's see here, I'll just send myself an email real quick and send, right? That's it. So once you've done that, so I will now receive an email. So if I go over to my email here, and this process takes about maybe a couple seconds, like 20-30 seconds for them to receive an email. So it's pretty fast, and that email comes on both sides. Here's that email. See this one right here?
Mm-hmm.
So here's my email that I just received right here. So by the time I logged into my email, it's already there, so it has their name on it, and there's a link to the CMA.
And does it capture the address?
Address.
So let's say I was the lead, so you click on the CMA, it captures the address of the
Yeah,
property?
Yeah, they have to plug it in.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how they find out where the property is and get comps on that property. So then send you the exact same link also. I'll show you what it sends you as well. So here's the link that a person would click on. I just clicked on it, and here's my CMA report. It's 9 pages long, and here's the CMA. A cover letter, if you want to include that, again, that's under settings, is where you could go in and create a cover letter if you want, so you can include that. Just kind of explaining what they're receiving, because the comps they're going to receive may not be completely relevant to the property, because it's a computer finding these comparables. It doesn't have 2 seconds to go and pick every best comp, because otherwise there's no realtor. There's, the computer is doing that, so there's no need for a realtor. So you wanted to explain here in this letter something I would include under settings, just letting them know this is the preliminary CMA report you're sending them, and you will be in touch with them shortly to go over some of the comparables in the neighborhood to evaluate it. So however you want to word it, just letting them know that what you're sending them is not what's truly there, just something that you initially following up with them. So however you want to word it, so you add this letter so they know what they're looking at before they scroll down and start looking at some of the listings. So this is what it's going to send them. Similar, so with their criteria is finding same number of bedrooms, similar bedrooms, and bathroom count within about a mile radius. Is what they're looking for. Does not look for condition of the property, does not look for property has a pool or not, does not look for some of the other factors that a realtor would do, right? So you want to draft a letter just kind of explaining a buyer, or I'm sorry, a seller in that case, is what they're getting, right? So these comps that are going to receive, and once that email goes out, you also receive an email, so let me just open up mine. And on your end, it will say, so-and-so requested a CMA report, here's their email address, and this CMA link was sent to them with their property address. So once I go in, and let's see here, and here's my new lead, right? So this is what an email looks like for you. So this is what you're going to see. So you have a new lead, so that'll be the title of that lead. Obviously that's my name, and this is what information will be. That's the lead's name, their email address, and their property address. Right? So that information, and there's a link to the CMA that was sent to them. So you can see the exact link, exact CMA that was sent to them. So you have the same comps on your end that were sent to them automatically. Now, in order for this thing to work, in order to control how many pages will be used and what will be included on that CMA, right? In order to do that, because otherwise if you don't do this one step, it will include many pages depending on, just like building a CMA for first time in cloud. So how do you control what should be included? What I would do is send a CMA to myself first, copy the link, punch in any address, send it to yourself first, log into Cloud CMA after you've done that, and here's the CMA that I just sent myself right here. You go onto the CMA and then click edit. On the CMA that you sent yourself, click edit, go to customize. So these are your steps. So you go to edit first and then click customize, and then go ahead and pick and choose what you want to include, right, on your CMA. Once you've excluded, removed things, or included things, pick the banner or the theme that you want to use. So all these things, once you have done, selecting what you want on here, go back to one-click report, right here. So earlier I showed you how you, save a one-click report. Same concept there. So you go there and you name this report. So you click on add new report, and you want to name this web lead. Right? It has to be named web lead. So the capital W, web, W-E-B, space, and then capital L, E-A-D. Right? It has to be labeled with that name. So once you label a web lead and save, now this report, whatever you've included here, will be used on that CMA, right? On the how much your home is worth link. Right? So if someone requests a CMA from there, and that's how you control what's included and what's sent out. Right? So you go onto your CMA and then pick and choose what you want to include, and then save that as web lead. Name that page web lead. Right? And then you could test it out again. Go onto the link and then just send yourself a link, and that should work. Right? If you name it web lead, make sure it's a capital L. Sorry. So make sure it says capital L. All right, guys. Any other questions?
Let me see. From the CMA, there is the branded, the video, that can be included in an email signature. Is that just right here on the where you have the lead gen, where it says how about adding this to your email signature line? Does that mean that in your
yeah, you could.
You can put that. You can put that CMA right there, right there.
Watch
Right
video,
there.
there you go.
But yeah, what this does is it just shows you how to create a hyperlink.
Okay.
Hyperlink.
Okay, so
Because you're not adding the entire link in your signatures. So
you
every
create a
signature is
hyperlink,
different, yeah.
And then it creates for a CMA or your home, click the link below, and it sends them into the landing page.
Yeah, so basically that link here, so this is the link that you want to copy. Unless you're doing it for website, only then you copy this one, just for website. Otherwise, you're using this link. So this is your landing page, and you decide where you want to share it. Some people share this as a landing page, like purchasing a domain, saying, find out how much your home, or home values in Lakewood.
Yeah.
Home values in Lakewood. Someone goes there, goes onto that website. Goes to the
So
landing
that's a
page.
single landing page.
Yeah. So you could either do that, or you could use that link in your signature by saying, want to find out how much your home is worth, click here. So the word here could have a link behind it. It's called hyperlink. So if someone clicks on here, it goes to that landing page.
Okay.
So if you're using any signatures.
I noticed that with the payment of being a member, it's only one landing page, which is the one to show us.
Mhm.
But there is a package deal for the additional landing pages. What is the difference, the additional landing pages, and do they really make a difference? I've been thinking about buying them, but I'm not sure that they're.
With Cloud CMA, I don't know. It's quite a bit. Costs quite a bit. All they do is they take your banner,
Uh-huh,
whatever you have, put it behind on that landing page.
so that's it.
That's it. It's the same
Okay.
features, same functionality, everything. Just your picture, your branding picture may show up on the background.
So they just create different ones
Just-
with different
yeah.
colors and different pictures.
It'll just be
and
one
stuff.
page. They just create one page for your office.
Okay,
It's usually for an office. They would be work office. I mean, otherwise it's a lot for an individual.
okay,
It's a lot, I think.
okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's a great way to, I mean, still be able to share it, and it's a nice landing page, has your picture and all that on the top, you know. So it's not, that's not the one. Let me copy this thing. Let's see here. Yeah, so this is what it would kind of look like. Let me zoom out a little bit. As your BRE number on the bottom, and how this page looks like.
So if you would do it the way the Leonard says, pay for it, would you have your company's?
You probably have your banner on the top, company banner,
Uh-huh.
right, something like that, or maybe the background color would be different.
Oh,
I don't know exactly what
You
they
give
offer.
your name and your phone
directly
number
with
and
them.
email.
so-
Phone number
Yeah.
information's already there. It's I don't know if it's worth the cost. I don't know.
Right.
But you can check with Cloud CMA and see what they.
And because I know that one of the features that allows us, like us being a franchise of Realty executives,
Mhm.
but it's not one of the features to default it in there.
It's,
I know there's all the other franchises have their name on it and the CMA comes branded, but Realty
That's when they
executives
have
does not.
purchased. So basically, if your franchise or your office purchase a package, it's a lot. What they do is basically add your banner on each CMA report, and they can create a landing. They have different packages.
Right.
That's a couple $1,000s.
Yes, I've seen it,
Yeah.
and I was wondering just that particular part of us being a franchise, how come it's not branded? So now
I would check with Cloud CMA,
I'm
see
gonna
if they could
call
add
them.
your office to
I'm gonna
that.
call
If
them.
franchise has a package, then
Okay.
yeah, I would probably do that.
Okay.
It'll look better. I mean, if it doesn't cost
If
too
it's a
much.
branding page, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All
So
right.
check with Cloud CMA on that
I
directly.
will.
Yeah, give them a call.
Okay.
All right.
You guys any other questions?
That was awesome.
Thank you.
man.
All right, thank you guys.
When can you come back again to show something else?
Yes. If you guys are not using it, if you guys didn't ask any questions, this program has been around for a while. This was Mercado. I remember using Mercado. Mercado made me a lot of money. That's how I was doing my videos. You remember Mercado?
Oh, I've been around
Okay.
so long.
Okay, so Mercado made me a lot of money. Mercado was in 2008, 2009. I made most of my money using CMAs for banks. BPOs for banks, and all of them were created to Mercado. When Mercado disappeared, I was pretty pissed off because I was so proficient with that program. And then when I found out that CMA Cloud had taken over, I was very happy. They're a huge company. They're actually, you guys in Huntington Beach, right?
Yeah, Cloud CMA is in Huntington Beach.
Huntington
They're
Beach.
really big now.
And
They offer
I've
cloud
talked
streaming,
a lot of times to them. They're pretty funny people.
Yeah,
Actually,
group of people.
they're very quirky. They're very Google-like. So give them a call if you guys have any questions. And that's it for today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
That was awesome.